Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Okay, we are talking ketogenesis, the ketogenic diet and its numerous health benefits. The ketogenic diet is a calm you down diet. It's anti-cancer, anti-diabetes, high performance. It's great for seizure disorders, Parkinson's disease. What more do you want from a protocol, an eating protocol? As far as heart health, cardiovascular health is concerned, the heart runs on ketones. Yesterday we talked about all the drugs, the history and the logic or illogic of using cardiovascular medication, statin drugs and beta blockers and calcium channel blockers. These form the mainstay. These are the primary protocol for dealing with cardiovascular health issues. If you go to a doctor, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get drugs. If he says you got a heart problem, you're going to get prescription medicines. Nobody's going to think about going with the ketogenic diet, which is an amazingly important heart health diet. Ketones are high-powered compounds that all the fast-moving systems in the body benefit from, particularly the heart, the brain, and the skin. And there's also supplements that you could use to support the ketogenic diet. We spent a lot of time talking about carnitine. Carnitine is not only important for folks going ketogenic. Carnitine helps the body utilize fats, but carnitine is also stupendously valuable for the heart. Unlike drugs, carnitine works by improving heart health. Drugs don't work to improve heart health. Drugs don't work to improve any health. That's all you need to know, folks. If you're taking a drug because you think you're going to get better by taking it, all you got to do is understand this. There is not a single drug on planet Earth that will improve your health. Period. End of story. Take that to the bank or to your doctor. There is not a single drug that will improve your health. Oh, they'll improve your markers. They'll lower your test scores or raise them. But they will not improve your health. They cannot improve your health. They're processed as poisons. They require detoxification by the body. That means they are toxins, and it is absolutely idiotic for any healthcare professional to think that leaving a patient on a drug for a long term, for months or for years or for decades, is in any way in their health interests. On the other hand, carnitine works to improve your heart health. It doesn't shut down body biochemistry. It improves biochemistry. It upregulates biochemistry. Carnitine, like all supplements, work to improve our health. What a brilliant idea. Drugs do not ever improve our health. They improve statistics. They improve test scores. They improve numbers, but never health. They cannot improve health, even if they lower the so-called risk. There's not a single drug that is not going to have a negative impact on your body. And on top of all that, they cost us nutrition. You're going to burn through your carnitine by taking a drug. You're going to burn through your B complex by taking a drug. You're going to burn through your electrolytes and your vitamin C. And all of that means, by the way, that if you are on a prescription drug, it becomes extra important that you get on your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. You could think of your Beyond Tangy Tangerine as an anti-drug side effect supplement. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine protects you from drug toxicity. The Ultimate EFAs protect you from drug toxicity. Your Sweeties protects you from drug toxicity. All nutrition protects you from drug toxicity. For many reasons, not the least of which is the fact that drugs cost you nutrition. As far as carnitine goes, if you have heart disease, ischemia, angina, heart failure, you've had a heart attack, I would strongly encourage you to be using 1 gram or 2 grams of L-carnitine or a deluxe form called propionic L-carnitine every day. That's propionic, P-R-O-P-I-O-N-I-C, L-carnitine, propionic L-carnitine. L-carnitine works too. Propionic is just a deluxe form. There's another form of carnitine called acetyl L-carnitine. This one is really important for the brain. And carnitine is not just a heart health supplement, it's a brain health supplement. Yes, carnitine is important for brain health. And the acetyl form, acetyl L-carnitine, A-C-E-T-Y-L, acetyl L-carnitine, or some folks call it ALCAR, A-L-C-A-R, ALCAR, is really important for the brain. ALCAR is like a natural Prozac. It helps support serotonin. If you're on Prozac, get yourself some ALCAR. You may be able to wean yourself off your Prozac. You may not even need your Prozac, and if you do, you'll be able to get, if you do take ALCAR, you'll be able to use a lower dose of your Prozac, and that means less toxicity. Supplements allow you to lower your dose of drugs in many cases. ALCAR also is epigenetic. It's an epigenetic factor. Epigenetic factors are substances that turn genes on and off. I'm not going to belabor the whole point about genetics and the failed genetic model. Fact is that epigenetics transcends the genes in the sense that epigenetic factors turn genes on and off. And guess what? Carnitine is an epigenetic factor, particularly when it comes to brain health. You know, carnitine is, in addition to being a natural Prozac, it's also got global feel-good effects. We'll talk about that when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. If you would like to check out our bone broth protein, Jordan Rubin's formulation, bone broth protein, truly a superfood. If you can't make bone broth and you want to enjoy the benefits, the protein benefits of bone broth, you want to know about our bone broth protein. It comes in 3 flavors: turmeric, chocolate, and vanilla. I personally like the chocolate bone broth protein. You can add some creatine in there, some glutamine. I put some essential fatty acids and coconut oil in mine. It is yummy. And it's got lots of beauty cofactors in it. If you want a good protein for your skin, for helping build collagen, fight the effects of aging, as well as for bone health and joint health, and also for the health of your blood vessels and the health of your digestive tract if you're dealing with leaky gut syndrome, which is a somewhat ubiquitous health challenge, certainly if you're dealing with a health challenge in general, a systemic health challenge, particularly an autoimmune disease. The odds are very good that you're dealing with leaky gut syndrome. Building and strengthening the connective tissue in the digestive tract is one of the best strategies for folks dealing with autoimmunity, and making sure you're getting connective tissue building amino acids like those you'll find in our bone broth protein is an important strategy if you want to build up the gut and prevent, reduce, or eliminate the symptoms of leaky gut syndrome, which include autoimmune diseases, as well as skin problems like eczema and psoriasis. Okay, so we're talking carnitine. Carnitine for the heart, carnitine for the brain. If you want to use carnitine as an antidepressant or to improve brain health issues or to improve the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, you want to go with the acetyl-L-carnitine form. That's also called ALCAR, acetyl-L-carnitine. Carnitine is a fat processing supplement. It's an amino acid-like substance. It's actually not technically an amino acid. It's made up of 2 amino acids. And when you think carnitine, you want to think fats. When you think brain health, you want to think fats. The brain is composed of 60% or so fat. If you're using the ketogenic diet to improve the symptoms of dementia, or if you want to improve brain function in general for memory, creativity, learning, you'd be extra smart to throw in a little carnitine into your daily supplemental program, 1 or 2 grams a day. Carnitine is not an essential nutrient. Your body can make it. But if you have heart disease or you have any issues with fats, if you've had a gallbladder removed, or you're one of the 100 million Americans with heart disease, or you're one of the 100 million Americans who has liver disease, you might want to think about supplementing with carnitine. If you're one of the 80 million Americans who has digestive health issues, if you got intestinal problems, you might want to think about supplementing with carnitine. If you've had your gallbladder removed, you might want to think about supplementing with carnitine. Carnitine is only found in animal foods. Carne means meat. So vegetarians who are interested in supporting carnitine might want to think about getting on a supplement. One of the most important roles for carnitine is in the muscle. If you're a bodybuilder, athlete, if you're lifting weights, carnitine supplementation is something that you want to consider. Muscle uses fat for energy, and one of the signs of carnitine problems or deficiencies in carnitine is low muscle tone, decreased muscle tone, or decreased ability to do aerobic or endurance type activities. Muscle pain with exertion can be a sign that you have problems with carnitine. Cardiomyopathy, remember the heart is got muscle. It's a muscle tissue. Cardiomyopathy is another sign that you may have an issue with carnitine. Muscle uses fat for energy, or I should say prefers to use fat for energy. Sugar can fuel muscle temporarily, and muscle does have a storage department for some extra sugar. When you burn through your sugar stores, your muscles will release some sugar from its storage depot, its muscle storage area. It's called glycogen. But because your muscles are constantly working, it's very difficult for the muscles to depend on sugar as a fuel, and that's why muscle cells have evolved to be fat burners. Fat is stored in fat cells under conditions of high energy. When there's lots of energy coming into the body in the form of food, calories. This is how the body stores energy, and it gets energy from calories, and then it stores it. And under conditions of high energy, and this is what most of us are doing, we're getting lots of energy from our foods via sugar, via carbohydrates. All that energy is going to get stored in fat, and under conditions of low energy, that fat is going to get released. That's an important point. This is how you lose body fat, is by stopping the energy input into the body, i.e. fasting and caloric restriction. Or by slowing down the energy input, as in the ketogenic diet. When you eat fat in the ketogenic diet, you're certainly getting energy, but you're getting energy in a slow, sustained release fashion. Under conditions of slow energy, slow, sustained release input of energy, the body has a tendency to burn it more readily than storing it. Under conditions of super high energy input, the body has a tendency to store it rather than burn it. When the body is electrically run down, that is when it doesn't have a lot of energy coming in, or when the energy input is slow, it has a tendency to burn. Just think of your iPhone. When your iPhone electricity, when the electrical charge in your iPhone runs down, it's similar to your biological battery running down. But unlike your iPhone, the body has a backup. That's your fat. Your fat is a backup. And that's a great way to think of your fat. It's an energy backup, and it can recharge you, just like when you recharge your iPhone. Problem is, we get so much energy from our food in this easy-to-absorb fashion, i.e. sugars, that fat we never need to burn the fat. It never gets released. There's so much sugar in the body that not only does the body burn it, it stores it. And then, on top of all of that, you get the hormone insulin, and insulin acts as a storage hormone. And for most of us, because we've been eating so much sugar and we got so much energy coming into the body, our insulin is way high. Over the course of time, as insulin levels rise, the body stops listening to insulin. That's called insulin resistance, and so more insulin has to be produced. And this is kind of a cycle that goes on for many of us for our whole lives. High levels of sugar lead to high levels of insulin. The body stops listening to insulin, so more insulin has to be produced. The body stops listening to that insulin, so more insulin has to be produced. Ultimately, the body completely stops listening to insulin, and then you got to take insulin shots. And because of this whole issue with fat and storage of energy, it leads to obesity. Elevated insulin leads to obesity. And this is why type 2 diabetes is a weight problem as much as anything else. In fact, if you want to lose weight, the fastest way to do it is to work with your blood sugar. Not work with your food, but work with your sugar. Not necessarily stopping eating, but reducing the amount of sugar and carbohydrates that you eat. Diet is so helpful for fat loss because under conditions of low carb, the body burns its fat. All right, we'll finish up when we come back from our break and take your phone calls as well. A couple things I wanted to talk about here. Studies in the news, articles. High-fat diet starves the brain. Apparently, a high-fat diet of 3 days in mice leads to a reduction in the amount of glucose that reaches the brain. And this finding was from a research group in Cologne, Germany. High-fat diet, according to this article anyway, a high-fat diet throws our bodies out of kilter. Interesting. And then they talk about how a high-fat diet reduces nutrition to the brain. And this is a very interesting point because we always talk about the importance, or the benefits, I should say, of a high-fat diet. Well, it turns out, according to this article anyway, a high-fat diet will starve your brain of glucose. You say, well, what's up with that? This points us to the idea of keto adaptation. A high-fat diet supports the production of ketones. A high-fat diet supports the burning of fat over the course of time. And this is where it becomes important to understand keto adaptation. You will get brain fog and headaches, possibly, not always, but possibly as you shift into fat burning. And this is because, as this article points out, a high-fat diet starves the brain. But what they don't tell you in this article, that over the course of time, the body corrects itself. It adjusts for the amount of fat that's coming into the body. And this is also why it's important to go low carb while you're going high fat. The ketogenic diet is not just a high fat diet, it is a high fat, low carb diet. You can't just do high fat without adjusting your intake of carbohydrates. And yes, over the course, it may take a week or so, or 2 weeks or 3 weeks for the headaches and the brain fog to go away. But you will be happy that you went through this keto adaptation period. Here's a juicy one from the Indian Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism. Diabetes is predominantly an intestinal disease. I love this. Where have you heard this before? Not your endocrinologist, that's for sure. Not your doctor. Not the mainstream media. Not the mainstream medical model, because they don't treat diabetes as an intestinal disease. They treat it as a blood sugar disease. But if you've been listening to The Bright Side for any length of time, you know that blood sugar diseases, dysglycemia, follows intestinal problems. The microbiome, the gut bacteria, play a major role in how the body processes energy. Sugar is energy. You can rest assured lurking behind your diabetes is an intestinal problem. You want scientific proof? Google. Diabetes is predominantly an intestinal disease. Here's another juicy one. The dynamics of human infant microbiome in the development of type 1 diabetes. Yes, it's not just type 2 diabetes that is an intestinal disease. It's type 1 diabetes also. I got a nasty email from some guy a couple of months ago. I was on George Norris on Coast to Coast, and I said that diabetes is an intestinal issue. As I say all the time, diabetes is an intestinal issue. And this guy wrote me an email. He said, well, you should have made a distinction between type 2 and type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. He got very upset with me. And we had a little back and forth because I said, you know what? Autoimmune diseases are also intestinal issues, which means type 1 diabetes is an intestinal issue also. It's a microbiome issue. This is from the journal Cell Host and Microbe. The dynamics of the human infant microbiome and the development of and progression toward type 1 diabetes. A marked drop in diversity was observed as and this is the diversity of the gut bacteria, was observed as type 1 diabetes progressed. No kidding. We talk about this all the time. The things you hear on this program, folks, the ideas you hear on this program are not ideas that you're going to hear in the mainstream media. You're not even going to hear it in many of the alternative health media either. These are ideas that I've come up with from 32 years of working with patients and 32 years of doing research. And the combination of working with patients and doing with research has allowed me to form a picture of how the body works that nobody talks about. That's what I call the triangle of disease. All disease needs to be backtracked to the gut, and then the blood sugar system, and then the adrenal thyroid complex. All diseases. Tomorrow we'll talk about some more about acetyl-L-carnitine in the brain. I also want to talk about acetyl-L-carnitine for Alzheimer's disease patients. Hang on, we'll get to your calls here in just a sec, so don't go away. New drug, Dynavil XR. This is awesome. Dynavil XR is the, quote, first and only extended release drug for ADHD. Guess what it is? Amphetamines. Literally, that's the drug. I'm not exaggerating. That's what it's called. It's called amphetamine, liquid amphetamine. Now, who in his right mind would think it's a good idea to give a 6-year-old or 7-year-old kid an amphetamine? And some of you guys know, I got some emails on this, that opioid drugs have now been approved for 6-year-olds. Oxycontin for 6-year-olds. Why would our 6-year-olds need to be drugged and medicated? What is going on, people? If your kid has ADHD, he doesn't need amphetamine. If your kid has ADHD, he needs the B complex, particularly thiamine and also niacin. If your kid has ADHD, he needs zinc. Zinc picolinate being the best form. If your kid has ADHD, he needs essential fatty acids. If your kid has ADHD, he needs to be taken off the blood sugar spiking foods. And of course, if your kid has ADHD, he probably should be working on his gut microbiome with a good probiotic supplement like the Nightly Essence. What your kid doesn't need if he has ADHD is speed, amphetamine. Oh my God. This is an e-farm alert. I get these things from drug companies all the time, and they're very proud of their liquid amphetamine. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. Anyway, 844-236-6010 is our number. Sandy in Florida, good morning. Welcome to the Bright Side.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm in a little bit of a pickle.
Okay.
My mom's not eating anymore because she's afraid to use the bathroom because it's so painful because she has sciatica.
No. Oh, my gosh. Did you hear the show yesterday, by the way?
I heard half of it, and then that was it.
Okay. I had a guy on Luke Adler. He was talking about sciatica being related to the kidneys.
Okay.
Which is not uncommon. I mean, makes sense because sciatica is so common and kidney dysfunction is common. So here's the thing. When I think of sciatica, I don't necessarily relate it to the kidneys, although you can. I relate it to inflammation, which means blood sugar and digestion. Now, over the course of time, as the body starts to break down, inflammatory factors can build up, and so you have other things that are involved. But the first thing you want to focus on is the digestive system and the blood sugar system when you're dealing with sciatica. Hang on, because we got to take a break, Sandy. I'll get you some supplements that your mom can use and some strategies that she can use for sciatica pain. So don't go away. And if you're on hold, we'll get to you as well. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we do have lines open, 844-236-6010. We'll take a break and come back with more good health information on the Bright Side right after this. Okay, we are back on the Bright Side. Thank you for joining us, friends. 844-236-6010 is our number. We're talking to Sandy in Florida. Hello, Sandy. Good morning.
Hey.
So your mom has sciatica, inflamed or some kind of sciatic nerve irritation, and she doesn't want to sit down or go to the bathroom. I assume she doesn't want to sit down in general, right? Probably hurts when she sits. It's pretty miserable. So the sciatic nerve runs down the back of the leg, starts at the lower part of the spine, and runs around the buttocks and down the leg. And it's not unusual for this part of the body to get inflamed for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's chemical inflammation, and number two, there's mechanical inflammation. Over the course of time, as the way we walk changes, the way we hold our body changes, not to mention the fact that our spine starts to degenerate, compression can occur in that area. So the first thing you want to think about is mechanics. If I had an issue like that was that severe, Sandy, I'd be going to a rolfer or a chiropractor that does adjustments, and they can manipulate that area. If there's a mechanical compression in there, that needs to be released. That's not a nutritional issue necessarily. There's also a wonderful form of body work called rolfing, R-O-L-F-I-N-G, rolfing. Funny name, but started by a lady named Ida Rolf, and it is amazing. I mean amazing for dealing with any kind of structural defects or structural disorders. And it sounds like this is very likely for your mom. How old is she, by the way?
She's 73.
Oh, almost guaranteed she's dealing with that. Now, rolfing can be a little bit intense. It's a good intense, though, because when you're done with it, it feels awesome. I'm not sure if she might be a little bit fragile for rolfing, but you'll have to go to a rolfing therapist to determine that. Certainly a chiropractor, I would be going to a chiropractor at the very least. Now, at the age of 70, guaranteed she's got other health challenges. The sciatica may be the most prominent and the most dramatic, but she's got to have other stuff going on. It would be helpful for your mom to keep track of them. It's unlikely, in my experience, that people in their 70s really, they just want relief.
I'm on the phone!
Okay, so is that your mom?
Yeah, that's my mom. She's in a lot of pain. She's like, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, poor thing. In the meantime, I don't, when you have that kind of severe pain, you might want to try a cortisol shot. But don't rely on them because they're not great, but they do help with pain. Do you know about those? Has she had one yet?
She's been begging for one, but no.
You know what?
I'd rather not go to a doctor at this point.
Of course not. But you
really
want to be logical and rational about this. I don't like drugs any more than than you do or anybody else does. But the fact is, when a 70-year-old woman is in that kind of pain, a cortisol shot can give her dramatic relief. Don't depend on it. That's the problem. The relief is so dramatic, we depend on it. So maybe a cortisol shot, and then have her find somebody who can manipulate to resolve the decompression. Now, under ordinary circumstances, I would have you doing a food diary, looking for problem foods, looking for foods that cause the problem to get worse. Because all of this is going to have an impact on how well she absorbs her nutrition.
Well, she stopped eating. So she hasn't been eating for 2 weeks, and
because she's
when
in pain.
She had eggs, she had diarrhea. When she had spinach, it stayed in, but
Sandy,
then 2 days later she had diarrhea. So
Sandy, she's got a problem. It's not a sciatica problem; it's a digestive problem.
Yes,
so
it is.
get her on some. Like I say, I could give you the full-blown protocol, but it's unlikely she's going to want to do it. So let me just tell you what I would be doing in a perfect world, what she should be doing in a perfect world. Okay?
Okay.
Number one, looking for foods that cause digestive problems and not eating them. Eggs are not. It's not unusual that eggs would cause a problem. Proteins in general can cause a problem. Have her use her ultimate enzymes with all her meals, and have her using the ultimate enzymes between meals as well on an empty stomach. That will help with the inflammation. The Nightly Essence probiotics. Have her eating as little as possible, but eating nutrient-dense foods, particularly vegetables, and particularly fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, if she likes sauerkraut, or any fermented vegetables. Have her do liquid nutrition. Bone soup can be very helpful for her, not just because it's liquid nutrition, liquid protein, but also because the proteins can help with the joints and the spinal cord particularly. So bone soup. Aloe vera, that can be very soothing for the gut, or noni juice for that matter, can be soothing for the gut. If you don't have a Vitamix, get one, or a NutriBullet, or a Ninja, something that keeps then you make her vegetable juices and vegetable soups. Okay, vegetable juices with the fiber, and vegetable juices and the fermented foods. Have her using the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, sipping slowly and small amounts, because it'll give her some diarrhea probably.
It does.
I figured. So you got to have her sipping on it slowly, and have her do it with food. It will help her if she does it with food. This is for everybody. This is a common complaint about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. If you get diarrhea or cramping or bloating after it, it's a sign of malabsorption, and it's an important sign because it means you're not absorbing your nutrients from food either. So you want to address this. If you bloat from or have digestive discomfort or diarrhea from the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, that's an indicator of malabsorption that needs to be addressed. So using her Beyond Tangy Tangerine with food, using her Beyond Tangy Tangerine in smaller doses, and sipping on it slowly. Okay. Also have her doing anti-inflammatory nutrients, particularly the Ultimate EFAs, 9 capsules a day, magnesium, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day, vitamin E, you have to go to the health food store and get that, 400 international units a day, and something called alpha lipoic acid, which is wonderfully anti-inflammatory. We're going to talk about that tomorrow because it relates to carnitine. Maybe 400 milligrams or so of alpha lipoic acid. And if there's any weekend warriors or athletes out there, everything I just told Sandy is very good for you if you're dealing with inflammation, post-workout inflammation as well. If she can keep her sugar intake down, that would be helpful, and going ketogenic would be definitely in her interest, and keeping her caloric intake down in general is a good idea. Carb intake down and caloric intake down.
I've been giving her a lot of the glucose gel.
That'll help as well, but in the long run, that's not going to help her with the immediate pain. And that is, I've seen people with sciatica pain. It is awful, awful, awful. And so all of the things I just told you about will work in the short run. The glucogel caps are important in the long run, but the bone soup has the nutrients in the same nutrients as the glucogel, but in a liquid fashion that'll be easier for her body to process. Likewise, my bone broth protein, by the way, too. She might want to try that. All right, that's tons of information for you. Good luck to your mom, and God bless you. I hope everything works out. Thanks for your call, Sandy. Take care.
Thank you a million times over. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. All right, Angela in Florida. Oh, we just lost Angela in Florida. Sorry about that, Angela. Left Angela on hold too long, and I apologize for that. And that's just the way it goes here on the bright side. And now we've come to the end of our show, and we don't have any calls. So I'm just going to tell you about this gal I talked to yesterday, Dina. She had an amazing story, all kinds of health challenges. I'm trying to find her file here. Of course, I can't find it now that I want to talk about it. Well, we'll just have to wait till tomorrow on that. The point I wanted to make here is, if you are dealing with a kind of health challenge that encompasses multi-symptoms and you don't know where to begin, this is where the triangle of disease can be so helpful. And I know how it is. You come in and you go to the doctor, you go to your naturopath or your alternative health practitioner, you're just dealing with a whole range of symptoms, blood sugar symptoms, you feel tired, your skin is breaking out, you got bone problems, you don't know bone or joint problems, and you don't know what to do. All always backtrack to the triangle of disease. You don't have to worry about specific protocols for Alzheimer's and specific protocols for arthritis and sciatica and autoimmune diseases, whatever flavor you may have. Just backtrack to the triangle of disease. It is so simple, you guys. Work on the digestive system. Focus on food elimination. Do a food diary. Caloric restriction. Fasting. Get on a good probiotic supplement like the Nightly Essence. Use fermented foods. Use nutrient-dense substances, foods that are easy for the body to process, like bone soup and bone broth protein and vegetable juices. Then you move to point 2 on the triangle, which is the blood sugar system. Caloric restriction, restricting your calories, that is going to help stabilize your blood sugar. But eating more fat, going ketogenic, and even if you're working out a little bit, eating more protein. I'm always a little bit careful about saying to people to eat high protein, because when we think about high protein, most of us think about hamburgers and steaks and protein foods that aren't necessarily great. Steaks and meat are not necessarily good sources of protein because of how cattle are processed and because of hormones and also because of cooking. Another problem with protein that people don't really talk about a lot is if you're not working or exercising or using that protein can get turned into sugar and ultimately turned into fat very quickly. This is why people who try to go high protein when they have diabetes can't figure out sometimes, well, gosh, I'm high protein, I'm not eating carbs, but my blood sugar is still high. Well, it's because the body can very effectively turn that protein into sugar. So you got to be a little bit careful with the protein, but working out in combination with protein is always a good strategy. Just be a little bit careful with it. And then, of course, using your B complex to help process sugar and zinc and selenium and sulfur, more fiber, more water. And then finally, last but not least, relaxing the body. Do not underestimate the power and the importance of relaxing the musculoskeletal system as well as the nervous system by using your brain correctly. There's so much wonderful stuff that we can do to get healthy without having to interface with the medical model. That's what we are about on the Bright Side. That's what we're about at Longevity as well. If you're interested in joining the Bright Side Ben team, please call 866-735-2470. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening, friends. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have a beautiful, wonderful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.
Heart disease kills over 600,000 Americans every year. For heart health, Ben Fuchs recommends CardioFX.
CardioFX is a source of the B complex vitamins. There's 120 milligrams of vitamin C per dose. So you're going to get your vitamin C, you're going to get your B complex in the CardioFX. The CardioFX is also a source of sulfur in the form of N-acetylcysteine. Sulfur deficiency can lead to elevated homocysteine, and it is thought to be one of the major reasons why vegetarians are at higher risk in some countries and based on some studies for heart disease than folks who eat animal protein. It has something to do with the lower sulfur content of vegetarian diets, and you will get sulfur in the form of N-acetylcysteine in the CardioFX product. N-acetylcysteine can be converted into taurine. So all in all, it's a pretty well-rounded cardiovascular nutritional supplement.
Concerned about heart health? Order CardioFX by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Or on the web at brightsideben.com.
This is Michael David from Seattle. I'm 51 years old, and 6 months ago, I started taking Andro 400 to increase my testosterone. Since then, I've lost 35 pounds of fat, and my waist went from size 38 to size 32. I have more energy, and I look and feel 20 years younger. And now my wife tells me I have to take Andro 400.
Hi, this is Ron Johnson from Utah. After 10 weeks of taking Andro 400, I lost 13 pounds, and my waist went from 36 to 33. That was 8 years ago. I continue to take Andro 400, and I've maintained my weight at 172. Gained muscle and energy. I'm 63 now and feel better than I have in 30 years.
Andro 400, the natural way to increase testosterone, lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel great. Try Andro 400, the safe, effective, affordable way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Do you ever feel like you're being watched? Like someone or some company is tracking your every move online? I know I do. That's why I trust Private Internet Access VPN to keep me safe when I'm online. I use it to encrypt my traffic and use an anonymous IP address. Private Internet Access keeps your internet traffic safe from unwanted eyes so you can finally feel safe. $40 a year for peace of mind is a no-brainer. Sign up today at privateinternetaccess.com. Once again, that's privateinternetaccess.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Cardio FX from Youngevity is designed specifically to promote optimal heart health. That's why Ben Fuchs recommends it.
You might want to think about using the Ultimate Cardio FX, which is a source of taurine. Each capsule in the Cardio FX has got a good dose of the B vitamins. It's got 4 major B vitamins in there: vitamin B12, niacin, vitamin B6, and folic acid. Numerous research studies have shown that the B vitamins and homocysteine, that toxic chemical that builds up in the body under B vitamin deficiency states, numerous studies have talked about lowering homocysteine as being far more relevant for protecting the heart than cholesterol numbers. If I was dealing with heart disease, I would be making sure I was getting enough B vitamins, I was getting enough vitamin C before I even thought about dealing with cholesterol or LDL or HDL.
If you're concerned about the health of your heart, order Cardio FX from Youngevity by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Or on the web at brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Do you ever feel like you're being watched? Like someone or some company is tracking your every move online? I know I do. That's why I trust Private Internet Access VPN to keep me safe when I'm online. I use it to encrypt my traffic and use an anonymous IP address. Private Internet Access keeps your internet traffic safe from unwanted eyes so you can finally feel safe. $40 a year for peace of mind is a no-brainer. Sign up today at privateinternetaccess.com. Once again, that's privateinternetaccess.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Cardio FX from Longevity is designed specifically to promote optimal heart health. That's why Ben Fuchs recommends it.
You might want to think about using the Ultimate Cardio FX, which is a source of taurine. Each capsule in the Cardio FX has got a good dose of the B vitamins. It's got 4 major B vitamins in there: vitamin B12, niacin, vitamin B6, and folic acid. Numerous research studies have shown that the B vitamins and homocysteine, that toxic chemical that builds up in the body under B vitamin deficiency states, numerous studies have talked about lowering homocysteine as being far more relevant for protecting the heart than cholesterol numbers. If I was dealing with heart disease, I would be making sure I was getting enough B vitamins, I was getting enough vitamin C before I even thought about dealing with cholesterol or LDL or HDL.
If you're concerned about the health of your heart, order Cardio FX from Longevity by calling 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470. Or on the web at brightsideben.com. That's brightsideben.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.